It is April 12th, 2021, and this is the latest restriction news for Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, Erasing Borders. And now, the news.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located, and thanks for watching. Again, my name is Rob Christian, also known as dcbornrob or DC Rob. Thanks for watching. This is the place for news for Colombia if you are heading there for travel, international travel, of course. Domestically, it's pretty easy. There's no restrictions. You can just jump on a plane and head over to Cartagena if you need to. But I want to jump through a few stories and also to announce that I am headed to Medellin, Colombia. I'm headed back for the first time in a long time. Last year locked me out. Then when they did reopen, for those who know, I have diabetes. I wasn't about to travel international anywhere, and I'm a traveler by nature. This whole crap happened last year when I my girl and I had just come back from Guatemala. So I'm ready to get back now, and I know what's going on there, and you're going to hear the stories that I'm reading right now and say, well, why is he going? Well, this is what I do. I mean, I'm doing videos about Medellin, so I need to get there. And I will be there often from here on out too, but you will see me like this if you see me. That's right. This is how I roll. That's right. You will see me masked up if I'm inside. If I'm inside working at Sweet Georgia Cafe or wherever I am, you will see me that way. I am a handshaking person though. So if I know you already or from the site, you're one of my subscribers or viewers, hey, come shake my hand. But I will tell you this, right after I shake your hand, I use sanitizer. And I do have masks that I will be wearing inside. Now, I do have a few stories that I want to jump into. So let's just jump right into the first one is from El Colombiano. It states, attentive. These are the measures that will govern in this week in Antioquia because, okay, you know, stuff changes every couple of days. So here's the latest news for them. Okay, it says the governor's office announced the package of measures in the face of soaring infections. In the last week, Antioquia has topped the list of new cases of coronavirus, becoming one of the areas of the country most affected by COVID-19. On Saturday, he reported his record at the worst day since the pandemic began. 4,371 new infections were registered and 85 people died, according to MinSalud. That is why the government announced this Sunday what restrictions will be for this week in the department. From this Monday, April 12th until Thursday, April 5th, nightly curfew and prohibition law between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. throughout the department. Peak and strict ID will be enforced for commercial establishments throughout Antioquia, allowing proceedings accounting for the last digit of the document as follows. Now, pay attention to these, and I'm going to say it again at the end of this video because it's not the same odd and even as it was before. You know, if it was the 12th, then 2, 4, 6, and 8 can go out. And if it was a 13th, you know, 1, 3, 5, and 7 could go out. But it's different this time, the 9. So peak and strict ID will be enforcing commercial establishments throughout Antioquia, allowing proceeding according to the last digit of the document as follows. Monday, 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And remember, this is the last digit of your ID. So if you don't have a cedula, if you don't have a Colombian cedula, then you're using I'm told that they let you use your driver's license, but they're really looking for your passport. I personally carry my passport card and have a photocopy of my passport, just in case they need to look at it. Now, what I need to check and see if there's a different number, if am I odd or even on my passport card and my driver's license. So we'll find that out when I get there. And I'm not telling anybody to do that. I'm just saying. But again, Monday, 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Tuesday, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Wednesday, 4, 5, and 6. Thursday, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so it's not odd and even. You need to know this if you want to go out. Okay, so from 8 p.m. on Thursday, April 15th at 5 a.m., Monday, April 19th, all the way through to Monday, April 19th, continuous and general curfew, defined exceptions are kept for this weekend. So keep in mind, they're doing the 4-3, 4 days locked up, 3 days out. 4 days locked up, 3 days out. Okay. So Governor Luis Fernando Suarez explained that the positivity index has continued to increase, and which shows the high circulation of the virus in population that reported. In it analyzes carried out. A lower proportion of adults over 80 years are infected as a result of vaccination. So it's working. People are taking the vaccines. Now, I'm not going to tell you to do anything either way. Get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. It don't matter what I say anyway, or any other YouTube or any other person on the news. Or, I mean, nobody's even, some of you not even going to listen to Dr. Fauci or any of the experts. I'm just telling you, me, I'll be wearing a mask if you come around me, okay? Because I'm about being as safe as possible, not transmitting it to anybody else and carrying, and I keep my hands clean. Okay. Let me jump to the next story. This is from El Heraldo. The COVID continues to attack health personnel. Nobody's thinking of this, remember? So we're saying, okay, the virus is, I don't know anybody's died from it. I don't know anybody's died from it. But who's dealing with this on a daily basis? The healthcare professionals. Okay. Who is protecting the healthcare professionals? Okay. Now this story is from Barranquilla, but pay attention to the details because it's going to be the same wherever. In addition to infections, the lack of vaccines and protective supplies are some of the factors that make health personnel vulnerable. So these people are risking their lives every day not to get this virus. And what happens if they do get it? Now they got to quarantine. So you got to take them out the pocket too. We have to appreciate what they're doing. And by all means, from me, all praise and good vibes sent from me. So this says medical personnel walk a fine line, exposing themselves to the spread of the virus on a daily basis. They are the ones staring at you, often at the risk of their own physical health and mental health. And mental health too, just keep in mind. They're having to deal with death and people struggling and people standing outside the building that can't come in. I just imagine what it plays on their mental health. That is what the figures of the National Institute of Health tell, which is as of April 7th, registered 53,788 infected in the country and medical system. Of these, 251 were hospitalized and 251 had died. See chart. The data in Atlantico are not more encouraging. According to the figure from the same data source, so many people, 1,177 members of the health personnel have been infected, of which 761 occurred while providing medical services, and another 415 refer to isolated undetermined cases. In the reports of the National Trade Union Associated of Public Health Workers and Servants, there are already 50 deaths in this territory. So this is just a medical professional. So, I mean, if you see a medical professional, you see an EMT, you see a doctor, a nurse, anybody that works at a hospital, give them the nod. Take them to lunch. Offer them a coffee. Okay. Next one. Now, this is one that was a shocker to me. This is dated like a week ago, but it's entitled, and this is from Caracal Radio. The requirement of the negative PCR test for international travelers returns. Returns? I didn't know it was gone. Okay. This is dated a week ago. I didn't know it was gone. So it says the Ministry of Health unified biosecurity measures for the national and international flights. Okay, again, it's dated a week ago, but it says the Ministry of Health used a new regulation through which it establishes that due to the appearance of the new lineages of COVID-19, among them the Brazilian, the British, and the South African, the PCR test must be requested again with the result negative, obligatory for Colombians and foreigners residing in Colombia who wish to enter the national territory by air. The expert advisory committee ruled that the request for a negative PCR test, the last 96 hours should be maintained. So we thought, okay, the judge ruled, a lower judge ruled, okay, you don't have to worry about the PCR test, and we're waiting for the alert from Minsalud to say, okay, no more. But now the virus is getting worse, and I told you, it's probably not going to happen. Now, come to find out, they're saying, it's there, and it's not going anywhere. So expect if you're going to Colombia to take your PCR test. I know I have to take it. The expert advisory committee ruled that the request for the negative PCR test of the last 96 hours should be maintained due to the new evidence of the appearance of different lineages of the virus that have a different clinical and epi behavior, and because of the need of strengthened genomic surveillance, says the doctor of epi for dermatology and Ministry of Health. With this resolution, measures such as the temperature measurements and restrictions for those who use blankets and entertainment systems are also withdrawn, on which it has been shown that they do not represent a greater risk. Okay. Now, I like this last section right here. It says, in other measures, recommendations are given for safe opening of VIP lounges in airports. On the other hand, some recommendations are maintained, such as keeping silent while staying on a plane. I didn't know that was a requirement. I'm all for it. I don't get how people out talking and meeting friends. And I'm that type of person. Hey, how you doing? I'm not that type of person right now, and I haven't been for the last year. It has adjusted my personality. In elevators, I almost always force people to talk, especially I'm walking in Vegas, and especially I had a couple of drinks. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Where you from? Blah, blah, blah. Now, Don, I don't want to know you. That's just the way it is. But this is an interesting one, too. Likewise, on flights of more than 2 hours in which people can eat, they must do so at intervals assigned by rows to avoid all of the people who remove their mask at the same time. And that got me when I first started flying, a few months ago domestically. I've only done it twice, I think, 2 or 3 times. But when I did, I was like, okay, they're serving food. Now everybody's taking their mask off at the same time to eat. Well, I'm not eating because I'm not taking my mask off now. And back then I was still wearing a shield. That was pre-vaxxed. Remember, I'm 2 shots in. Okay, so this, so they are saying, okay, so they're going to do it in intervals. Maybe they do row 1, 5, 7, 9. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's cool. I'm cool with that. And of course, the permanent use of the mask, preferably N95 or surgical. Okay, N95 doesn't work. Okay, I mean, it works, and nothing else works as well as N95, but it's too restrictive. Man, it's so tight. I don't know how nurses and doctors wear that, I guess because they have to. But I found myself panicking because I couldn't breathe that well. So I use nothing but the KN95 mask. This one right here. If you are headed to Medellin, Colombia, make sure you stop by one of Sweet Georgia Cafe locations, or either both. One's in Laureles, one is in Poblado. Make sure you tell the owner, Rob, that DC Rob sent you there. As well as if you're in the Poblado neighborhood, make sure you stop by Brooklyn's restaurant and see Chef Jay. Also, if you need airport pickups or drop-offs, call my man Andres. His information will be below, and he's my guy for tours. Okay, next story. 53% of the inhabitants of Bogota have already been infected with COVID-19. This was revealed by a study carried out by researchers from the COVID project led by the Universidad de los Andes. Okay, nothing like that dreaded test. Oh my God, I got to do it again. In a dialogue with Caracal Radio, Richard Lahaj, scientific director of the COVID project, confirmed that after taking more than 1,500 diagnostic tests for COVID-19 every week to inhabitants of the city of Bogota, especially asymptomatic, and after monitoring the positivity rates in various populations, found that by the end of February, 53% of the people had already been infected with the virus. The advantage that we have compared to the data that exists is that we take tests with people who have been essentially asymptomatic, so just regular people with no symptoms. What's more is this: the figure that we found is consistent with the seroprevalence study revealed by the National Institute of Health, which is at the end of October found that 30% of the population infected. Okay. Ultimately, it says the scientific director of the COVID project said that, in fact, it could be said that Bogota has achieved a good herd immunity. So I want to get that story out to you. It's not all bad for Bogota. And then lockdowns are just coming up, I think, tomorrow, meaning they can come back out. The restrictions stop tomorrow, the general quarantine. So this one is from Minuto 30. It states more than 1,390 demonstrations in the Abura Valley during the curfew. So the only reason I show this is to tell you that people are still not adhering to the mask policy, the party policy, the nightclub policy, the late night restaurant policy. They're still doing it. This states that the Metropolitan Police of Valle de Abura delivered an operational balance of citizen behavior during the last days of the curfew and dry law. 3 days have passed since the government measures issued to mitigate COVID infections, but many have failed to comply. It is what it is. Okay, this one says, Medellin welcomes the measures taken by the government of Antioquia. The Medellin Mayor's Office works jointly with the Antioquia Governor's Office to mitigate the speed of COVID-19 infections. And this is just going over the same dates of 4/3, what he's doing. This is going to be starting from April 12th until April 19th. So this states the 4/3 strategy, peak and cellular dry law. So the dry law applies the same days that you're locked up. You're not supposed to be out buying liquor. Obviously, you're locked up. But measures to which Medellin is welcome. They are welcoming this again from this Monday, the 12th, until Wednesday, the 14th. There's a night curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then the continuous curfew will run between Thursday, April 15th and Monday, April 19th. So that's Thursday at 8 p.m. until Monday at 5 a.m. You release the people. The continuous curfew will run between Thursday, April 15th at 8 p.m. until Monday, April 19th at 5 a.m. This could change, probably will. I hope it's all done by the time I get there, but even if it's not and I'm locked down, at least I'm there. I'll report I'm locked down and I get some good Sweet Georgia Cafe food. So next story, Info Bay. Pfizer vaccine in Colombia, a dose will be applied to those who had COVID. Yes, they are vaccinating people who had COVID. The announcement was made by the Ministry of Health while they recalled the immunization guidelines for cancer and anticoagulated patients. You know, it is so difficult, I got to say, to read some of this stuff because sometimes the words are misspelled. I'm trying to do it in Spanish and with the, using the enunciations of Spanish. And then they just, he is she and she is he. It's difficult to look at a picture of a woman where it says he. There's some things that are wacky when I use the Google Translate, but let me tell you, it's a challenge. Okay, this states that after almost 2 months since the vaccination against COVID-19 began in Colombia, the Ministry of Health defined new guidelines on the application of biologics against the coronavirus. And through Resolution 430, the portfolio ratified that the vaccines are safe in infected patients. Okay, in other words, they're good for them. It is necessary to record it in this guidelines as well as the recommendations regarding the application of the vaccines in these cases. They argue while referring to the effectiveness that the Pfizer drug brings to those who already had COVID. Skipping ahead, recall that in mid-March, the health minister, Fernando Ruiz, revealed that those people over 18 years of age who had the virus, a single dose of Pfizer vaccine will be applied. So they're only getting the one shot. Now, supposedly, you get up to 90% protection with the one shot. At least it did for Moderna's. I would assume it's the same for Pfizer. And then the remaining part is when you get the remaining 5% is when you get the second dose. But remember, I'm 2 shots in. That's right. So, and I encourage you to get 2 shots in too, but you're going to do what you won't do. Okay, this one's from Info Bay, Colombia. New restrictions in Cartagena decree pico y cédula from this Monday. This measure adds to the curfew and dry law that the local administration has already decreed in recent days. I found that every time I do a video, one of these news update videos, I might as well include Cartagena because I always get the question, what about Cartagena? Because that's the jump off spot when you feel like you locked down in Medellin or Bogota, you shoot over to Cartagena. Well, now their restrictions are tightening a little bit. I mean, it's not like everywhere else. Okay, it says take into account that during this second weekend in April, the contagion of COVID-19 increased in Cartagena, Bolivar. The local mayor's office decided to implement more restrictions in the city. Through Decree 0418 of April 11th, it was ordered to implement pico y cédula from this Monday, April 12th, until the 19th of the same month to enter the public establishments of the Bolivarian capital. As explained by the mayor of Cartagena in a press release, the measures will be applied specifically to shopping centers, financial institutions, Basurto market, department stores, and supermarkets. In addition, it will be detailed that this order will work according to whether the last digit of the date of the identification document each citizen ends in odd or even. So they are doing the odd and even here, but remember Medellin is not. Go check these if you want to run out and play or shop. It says Monday, April 12th, it's 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, and it's the same scheme throughout. On the 13th, it's 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Same thing on the 14th, 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, all the way down to April 18th. Okay, it says the mayor of Cartagena recalled that employees of essential services and businesses, in addition to those who carry out hotel activities, as well as establishments of the gastronomic, that's eating, in industry and parks, are exempt from the application of pico y cédula. Similarly, an exception will be made for the public servants, members of the public force security companies, of the official fire department, civil defense, and Red Cross and relief agencies. These measures are in addition to those published by the mayor's office on Friday, April 9th. Okay, so it's changed since the 9th, when it announced a curfew and dry law during the month of April. William Dow, the first authority in Cartagena, said that new guidelines will be more restrictive, but without paralyzing the city. He said that it is not necessary to close the city since Cartagena, unlike other capital cities, registers moderate levels of contagion and occupation of beds and ICU units. The only thing I can figure out the why that their numbers are less than everybody else, well, they could be tricking the numbers, but and I don't think that's it. I think that most people are outside. You know, it's a beach town, so most people are outside. Just like that party that got busted, they were outside. In this way, as explained by the local president, the curfew that was previously ruled Monday to Tuesday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning of the next day will now work at the following times: from Sunday through Thursday, from 10 p.m. each day until 5 a.m. the following day. From Friday to Saturday, that means just Friday and Saturday nights, from 12 midnight in the morning until 5 a.m. in the morning the next day. So keep in mind, Cartagena does have it. So from Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. From Friday and Saturday night, 12 midnight until 5 a.m. So they're letting you stay out later 2 nights a week on the weekend. This decree likewise establishes that during the validity of the curfew, the consumption of intoxicating beverages in terraces, shops, tobacconists, liquor stores, billiards clubs, galleries, and refreshments is also prohibited. Likewise, the administration announced the entrance hours to the authority beaches were also modified so that they work during a single day. This means that from this Friday, April 9th, the use of the beaches will only be allowed between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Whoa, didn't see that one coming. That means the beaches in Cartagena from Friday the 9th, which is last Friday, the use of the beaches will only be allowed between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's pretty restrictive for a beach. You got to be off the beach at 2 o'clock. I got to see video of this. It was also recalled that in order to visit these tourist places, a biosecurity module must be reserved in advance. There you go. That's Cartagena. Also, the Administrative Department of Health, this one is Caracal Radio, and the story is entitled, Occupancy of ICU Beds in Cartagena Continues to Rise. Currently, the district reports 72% of care in intensive care. So the numbers are going up. They're just going up slightly. The Administrative Department of Health reported through its daily report that as of this Saturday, April 10th, Cartagena reached an occupancy in ICU beds of 72%. The accelerated increase in care in the intensive care units worries the experts, since in the last 24 hours, it rose by 3%. It was 69%. This is why the consequences of the social and discipline that was experienced in the city before Easter and during the special date are beginning to be noticed. So they're saying this is due to the Easter vacation. This one is just a quick one. It's entitled, this one is from Infobay. They seized almost half a ton of cocaine on a sailboat in Cartagena. The boat, which was traveling under the Panamanian flag, did not carry the necessary licenses, its mobilization. A coup against drug trafficking was delivered by the Colombian authorities this weekend, thanks to the actions of the Rapid Reactions Unit of the Cartagena Coast Guard. They seized 494 kilos of cocaine that was mobilized inside a sailboat. Wow. According to the authorities, the sailboat Open Mar with a Panamanian flag would have set sail from an unauthorized dock in Cartagena. So there you go. Just a quick one. El Espectador, they denounced large crowds at Transmilenio stations in Bogota. This is one that got me because if anything, I think pushes or extends the severity of the virus, I think is the metro system, man. I don't know if any of you have taken a metro there, but I've seen people where 2 or 3 people will hold hands and get outside the thing when it was so packed and push everybody inside. And you are like squeezed tight. Then they get to the next next station, nobody gets off. And there's another 15, 20, 30 people trying to get on. Same thing. And I'm like, where are these people going? Well, if you're that tight next to somebody and your mask, or you got one of them spandex masks, which is nothing but, thick fishnet you're putting over your face, virus is spraying right through it. I can see this as being a way that they are extending the reach of the virus. And they're saying this is the Transmillennial stations. It's like a bus, like a long 2 or 3 part bus that goes through and has little stations, it's up off the ground. They have the same thing in Medellin, but this is in Bogota. It says, during the morning of this Monday, users reported on social networks long lines and lots of money at different stations such as the Portal Americas and Banderas. Despite the strict quarantine, multiple people went to work to find that the system operates with the schedule for Sundays and holidays. Ooh, so they had a Sunday schedule, and it backed up stuff. People who have to go to work, how are they going to get to work? Not everybody drives there. Very few people drive there. I would guess that with the amount of people there, that 1% of the people actually drive. Everybody else has to take some other form of transportation. But this says the third day of quarantine in Bogota started with chaos at different Transmillennial stations. From early on, users denounced the variation in the schedules and available routes despite being a weekday, which has generated large crowds in several of the main portals of the city. Yeah, they should have been ready for this. The more buses they put out there, the less people are on them. Says the situation is worrying, considering that the general quarantine in the city was done in order to avoid crowds. They're right. And the large influx of people in the streets. However, as the images show, the restriction of mobility occurred more in the operation of the buses than in people who, despite the measures, had gone out to work on Monday. Last story that I want to go over is just the dates again for Medellin. Okay, what dates are up until the 19th anyway, the restrictive measures for Medellin. Okay, and also, if you get any benefit out of my videos, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Like helps the YouTube algorithm. The more you hit like, the more people get to view my videos. This one goes to, let's start with the 12th, April 12th, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. in Medellin and the rest of Antioquia. We're talking about Medellin here. So let me just say the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Then April 15th, which is Thursday, until April 19th, which is Monday. It's closed from Thursday, 8 p.m. until Monday at 5 a.m. Okay, so it's the 4-3. 4 days in, 3 days out. 4 days in, 3 days out. Okay, if anybody is there, expats, anybody else who watches my video, I hope to run into you at either Sweet Georgia Cafe location or over at Brooklands. I hope I can get out. Either way, I'm going to roll with it. If it's canceled, it's canceled. If I'm stuck in a hotel or Airbnb, I'm stuck in a hotel or Airbnb. I'll still be working. I'll still be vlogging. I'll be looking out the window. And I still can order Sweet Georgia Cafe on Rappi. What about that? Because I'm 2 shots in. That's right. Thank you guys for watching and be safe.
We have a YouTube channel. Like it.
Please comment and share if you liked the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.